Hello everybody, welcome back to Dee's Book Brain. I'm Dee and this is my book brain. Today we're going to be doing a mini book haul. It looked like someone was walking outside. Oh, they're going up the stairs. Okay, we have upstairs neighbors. I saw shadows and it frightened me. I was a frightened little baby. Today I'm going to be doing a little mini book haul. We went to a charity shop and they had a book sale. That's all this charity shop does. It's like a pop-up thing. Like they rent out empty spaces and they sell books for their charity. And basically, they put books in the hands of children who otherwise wouldn't have them. It's called Books for Keeps, and it's a very nice organization. So I definitely like supporting them. And I get super cheap books out of it. So who's going to complain? Not yours truly. Alright. Let's move on to the books I got. So the first book I got is The Audition by, I believe it's Ru Murakami. And this is about a man who is so lonely for a woman in his life that he holds auditions for a fake movie in the attempts to meet a woman. Unfortunately, he does meet one particular woman who turns out to be a lot more than he bargained for. You may know this as a horror film, a particularly scary one. There's one scene that kind of makes me a little nervous when I see it. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of surprised at how short this one is, but that means either it packs a punch or it dances around the issue, so we'll find out, but I'm very excited. So they actually, as most booksellers don't do, their horror was kind of not in its own section. It was mixed in, so I found a lot of gems. For instance, we have Nightstone by Rick Haltala, and I don't know if you can see it really well, but there's like a holographic on the cover where it's a kid's head that turns from a skull to a regular head. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's about this family that moves into this house, and this kid finds this like wooden doll that is very clearly possessed. But that's not going to stop him from playing with it. So that will be fun. It's a chunker. It's the chunkers. It's the chunkers. Keeping in the vein of classic horror, we have Cold Print by Ramsey Campbell. And a nice little holographic font. This one is about a monster that lives beneath a church. Cool. Next we have Avatar by Donald Beeman. Honestly, I'm not even 100%. I just really like the cover of this one. And from what I gather, it's about a man who meets this sculptor artist who sculpts really like weird stuff, and then he finds out that she's kind of weird. So that'll be fun. I like weird things. Next, we have The Promise by Robert Westall. I'm so scared I'm going to forget their name in the 5 seconds I stop looking at it. This is kind of like a point horror, young adult horror, definitely Fear Street-esque. It's about a guy who makes a promise to a dying girl, and then surprise, surprise, she dies. But she wants him to keep his promise. I don't know what it is. Maybe he promised to like water her plants or something, and he's not doing it. We'll find out. Next, this one I absolutely just picked it up on a whim, and it looks like something I'd be kind of interested in. And it's called Death Watch by Rob White. You can see that. I don't know. We're bad at this. But the little tagline on the front says, "In the desert without clothes, food, or water, and hunted by a madman with a .358 Magnum." That sounds pretty ballin'. Like, it sounds like The Greatest Game. Is that the name of it? The Great Game? The Game? The Most Dangerous Game. Thank you. The Most Dangerous Game. So it sounds like that, but maybe like on a solo. And it's super short. You can knock this thing out in a day. I don't know. It seems like it might be a legit little book. It's the winner of the Edgar Award from the Mystery Writers of America. I don't know. It could be fun. fun. I like survival things. But when I saw this, I was reminded of a book that I read in middle school, elementary school, that I loved so much that I had to get it. So there's that, Death Watch. Actually, I might read this one super soon. But the book that it reminded me of is everybody's favorite, Hatchet by Gary Paulson. Now, of course, this is the new cover, not the cool one where it looks like the hatchet and the dude's face are on top of each other. But this is a tale of survival about a young boy, 13 years old, who is on a plane to go see his father, and and the plane crashes, and he essentially literally has to survive in the wood. There were a lot of sequels to this book, none of which I have read and none of which I'm too keen on reading, because why mess with a perfect book. So Hatchet by Gary Paulson. I'm super stoked to reread this. Next, we have A Stranger in the House by Shari Lapina. And she wrote The Couple Next Door, which I thought was just okay, but I'm very forgiving when it comes to mystery suspense writers, because it's a hard genre to write. It's hard to put in those red herrings and those twists and turns. So usually for like a first time mystery thriller, I usually will actually give them a few books to kind of get their toes in the water. Because like I said, it's tough. So if you judge a mystery writer by their first book, I don't think that's a very fair thing to do. I guess you could say that about most writers, but I feel like this genre in particular it's very hard to get a hit on your hands. So I'm going to read this book, Stranger in the House by her, and we'll see if I like it. I'm sure I will. I'm sure it'll be a fine book, but we'll see if I actually love it. So, in the beginning of my channel, I said that my two favorite genres were horror and young adult fantasy. And though that is true, I was keeping a secret. This secret is not shameful, and yet I felt the need to withhold this information. The truth is, I love romance books. There, I said it. I said it. Oh, I feel so free. But I love romance books. So, I picked up a copy of Wallbanger by Alice Clayton. And this is about a young woman who hears her neighbor, because they have paper thin walls, hears her neighbor's like sexy lifestyle going on, and he's banging on the wall, and one day she gets tired of it. She's gonna go investigate. I wonder what'll happen when she meets the wall banger. She'll probably bang on the wall. But I'm excited. It's going to be cute. And the last two books I got are part of a series. Series duology? I don't know. I'm new to this whole thing. But the first one I have is Clipped Wings by Helena Hunting. Helena Hunting wrote the Pucked series, which I read and really, really, really loved. And I've heard good things about this particular series. It's a young girl with a troubled past meets a tattooed bad boy with a troubled past. Together, will they have a troubled future? I don't know, but we'll read it and find out. And then the last book I have is the sequel to Clipped Wings, and that is Inked Armor. My husband's looking at me like I'm foolish. But I don't care. I don't care. So this is a sequel to it. So that's it, yeah. So those are all the books I purchased at this book sale. I'm super stoked about all these books. My husband wants me to show you all the books he got because he kind of wants to be on my channel, but he's too shy to admit it. So I'll do it for him. My husband is a big crime noir fan. He likes crime and noir. So one of his favorite writers is James Ellroy, who wrote The Black Dahlia. And of course my husband already owns every single book that he bought today, but he wants nice copies that look good on the shelf. You know, sometimes you gotta be a little vain when it comes to your book collection. There's no shame in that. And the money goes to a good cause, so why not? But this first one is called The Black Dahlia. I don't know what order these books go in, but I do know that it's actually kind of cool if you're really into like epic stories, because I believe it takes place over several decades. Like the whole story, the story as a whole, it starts with the Black Dahlia, and I think like one of the side characters in this one becomes a main character in another one, and like one of the characters in this, it's very like, it's all set in the same universe, and so you see a lot of the same characters. And it's actually pretty cool. If you've seen the movie LA Confidential, there's a character from this in that. And of course, if you've not read this or seen this, it is not going to take away anything. But if you know these characters, it's actually kind of a cool little like, hey, I know them. But anyway, Black Dahlia. So, my husband's feeding me lines off camera because he really wants you guys to know about these books. So this is actually the second one in the series, The Big Nowhere. I have no idea what this one's about. I don't know what any of them are about. But the Black Dahlia is about the Black Dahlia crime. This one is about the Red Scare in Hollywood. They all take place in Hollywood, like back in the heyday, the golden years of Hollywood, LA specifically. So it's actually cool, like atmospheric, because like that was like a golden time in Los Angeles where, you know, movie stars were just everywhere and people loved them, and then people were getting murdered, and I don't know, I guess it's like real life meets fiction in these kind of books. And I only know this through my husband, but if you actually look up James Ellroy and look at his personal life, like, he's good to write this kind of stuff. Like, he kind of had like a messed up childhood, you could say. So, like, any emotion that he puts into these books, like, I don't know, I just feel like it's very sincere. So I definitely think this is the kind of author that you need to look at who they are and then read, and I don't know, I think it just adds to it, honestly. I'm talking about these books like I've read any of them. I have not. I just listen to my husband talk about them, because my husband and I love talking about books, and he's like me, where he really gets into it, and when he finds one he likes, he like dives deep, and I get it. So the third book in that series is the one probably everybody knows, is LA Confidential, which was a movie, and I had never seen this movie, but my husband made me watch it, and whew, it was very good. It was a story, that's to be sure. You know, sometimes the movies are just scenes spliced together, and sometimes they tell a story, and that one told a story. But this is about a cop that gets killed, a cop that you may remember from a previous book, perhaps. A cop that gets killed, and just the investigation, and there's a lot of like crookedness going on, and backstabbing, and unusual alliances, but it's actually super good. I assume the book would be even better, as is typically the case. And so, last thing you got was the fourth book in the series. It's called White Jazz by James Ellroy, and this one is about a corruption investigation in the department. And one fun thing about this one, oh my gosh, is this really signed by James Ellroy? Who knows? Is it a fake? Huh? But does it look cool? Yeah, it does. So that is the last book my husband got at the Books for Keep book sale. Alright, so that's it. That's everything we got, and that's everything we're going to read. And I'm really digging this like au naturel look. Like, you know, I'm not like, nobody's going to put a poster of me up on their wall, but at the same time, like, you know, why fake it? Like, I don't wear makeup every day, so why would I put on makeup just to shoot a video for you guys? Like, we're all friends here. I don't need to hide who I am. Unless I'm in the witness protection program. Ooh, I got some phone calls to make. Okay, that's it. Bye!